So today, guys, we have a build that I think a lot of you guys will enjoy. If you guys are watching this gameplay, well, you guys are going to already realize that this build is one of those builds that can put out an insane amount of damage that allows you to get through that hard content. As you guys are seeing, this is legendary difficulty. So as we go through this gameplay, I'll be breaking it down a little bit for you, and then we'll get into the build. Now, one thing you should always remember is content on legendary difficulty means those enemies are going to be tankier, so a little bit more of a bullet sponge. So you need to have some type of damage to drop them, especially if you're solo. And with this build, it allows you to target 3 enemies at once. The damage is there even when you fire from cover, but being able to take down 3 enemies at once is what really makes the build shine, right? If not, it would just be a regular old DPS build. But that's why Negotiators has always worked really well. And that's why I actually like it with the new exotic assault rifle, because of the amount of damage that you have, the amount of bullets you have. You can just pretty much shred through enemies and get through harder difficulties a lot easier. If you guys want to run this on heroic, you guys can. This is all legendary difficulty, so keep that in mind. The enemies are going to be tankier. They're going to take more bullets to bring them down. But if you have a build that does that, that's what this does here. We'll have a full build breakdown in just a second. Just want to show you this other clip. As you guys seen, we had reds, we had purples, we had golds, and then we even had tank. And we're gonna have a tank here again. And those tank enemies, as you guys are seeing, we're not having much trouble, especially when we can get that shock ammo, which we tend to get, because think about it, we're gonna hit 100 bullets on target. And for me, I just feel like this is how you guys want to run this build. And with the new exotic assault rifle, it even gets better. So here we go, let's finish them off, and that's it. Let's get into the build, guys. So you might have guessed it, we are running the St. Elmo's engine. That's the name of the build, the St. Elmo's Dilemma. And the reason why this is so good is because of what the St. Elmo's does, right? For PvE, it's such an amazing weapon. A lot of people look past it because it's not the craziest amount of damage, but the fact that you have 70s rounds in the magazine, you have 850 RPM, and then on this build, I'm sitting about 115,000 total damage. Now, I do have it at 23 expertise, so you can lower that down depending on if you're at 10, 15, 25, whatever it is, that it'll be dropped down a little bit, but it will still work really well. So we go with assault rifle, health damage, damage targets out of cover. I re-rolled mine to make sure I got damage targets out of cover. Once I had it, then I optimized it. Now, if you look at the talent, obviously you know shooting an enemy with this weapon will give you 1 stack. Add 100 stacks, the next magazine you fill will be with shock ammo. That shock ammo is going to help you, especially against those harder enemies that take a lot of bullets. You'll be able to shock them and they keep laying into them. But what's really cool about this weapon is not even that talent, it's the mods it has. It has 20% crit damage alone on the scope. It has 30 rounds on the magazine with no negative reload speed or no negative downfall. It has 20% weapon handling, which is going to help with aiming, the stability, the accuracy, the reload time, and then obviously it has 20% crit chance on the muzzle alone. So on this weapon, we're getting 20% crit damage, 20% crit chance, 20% weapon handling, and 30 extra rounds. And that's why it is so good. Hey, the talent is just a bonus. For my secondary, you guys didn't see too much of it in the gameplay, but I have this in case I'm in trouble. The reason why is the mop is going to be at a 1 million damage. It has shotgun damage, damage to armor, and armor on kill. That 10% armor on kill paired up with our specialization, I'm going with the gunner class. That'd be 20% armor on kill. If I'm in that situation where I really need some armor, there you go. And then I put preservation on there. Killing an enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. Now, if I get a headshot, this kills improves repairs additional 10%. 20% will be coming over time, and then 20% will be instantly. So that's why it's really good to have. Well, you might have guessed it by the name, right? Negotiators. Well, Negotiators Dilemma. The 4-piece is what's really cool about this build, right? The 2-piece gives us 15% crit chance, 3-piece 20% crit damage, and then look what the 4-piece does. Critical hits mark an enemy for 20 seconds up to 3 marks. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of that damage dealt. Whenever a marked enemy dies, gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20%. So that 20 times. So that means you can have up to 40% critical hit damage when you're in combat. That's what's cool. More crit hit damage. We're going to be hitting very hard. So we do have weapon damage on here, critical hit damage, and we have a critical hit damage mod. For the chest piece, we're running Grupo Sombra. That's going to give us 15% critical damage. We have weapon damage, critical chance, critical damage, and a critical hit damage mod. Now, I want to obliterate. The reason why is because critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for every 5 seconds, stacks up to 25 times. So since I'm going to be critting a lot, I should be able to have that 25% extra weapon damage almost at all times after the first encounter with the first enemy. And that's what's really good about this. For our second piece of negotiators, we have the holster. That's gonna be weapon damage, critical hit damage. For our knee pads, we have weapon damage, critical hit damage. And for our fourth and final piece, the negotiator dilemma gloves with weapon damage, critical hit damage. Final piece is the Fenris backpack. We have weapon damage, critical hit chance, critical damage, and a critical hit damage mod. We have vigilance on here, increases total weapon damage by 25%, taking damage disables his buff for 4 seconds. And if you guys notice that you guys aren't hitting enough crits or you have way too much crit hit chance, like in the video, I think I was over the 60% cap. So I took it off, I swapped it for the critical hit damage. So I should be hitting harder now than I was hitting in the video. And I'm still at 57% crit hit chance, and I'll show you in a second. For our skills, we are running the decoy. I think this is great for harder difficulty, especially if you're solo. If you're in group, you couldn't run it, but in solo play, it definitely helps out because you throw it out there, the enemies will focus on it, and you can just beam those enemies. And then I definitely love the defender drone. Look at this. At tier 1, we're still getting 24% damage reduction, which definitely is enough to get you some type of survivability for the mods, duration, health, and damage reduction. So for the stats, we have 56%, almost 57% crit chance, 206% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, plus we have a 10% damage targets a cover on the weapon itself, and we have 21% health damage. For me, this is probably one of the nicest, hardest hitting builds in the game. It just does so much for you, and it works great solo or in group play. It's a lot of damage. You definitely just have to know how to play the build. You can't go out there and just think you're gonna face tank everything because you only have 733,000 armor. But obviously, you guys know if you can melt things in this game fast and you can stay in cover, you can definitely hit very hard. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a build that definitely does what it's meant to do, this one right here, the St. Elmo's Dilemma, man, this build is a beast. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. I'm gonna wrap up the video here, guys. Hey, I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, Nothing But Skills out. Take it easy, everybody.